This affidavit, compiled by investigators here in Mesquite, contains new and graphic details about the alleged drug deal that went bad and the revenge plot that ended in murder.
3-year-old Christy Cowan was killed and her 10-year-old sister Brittany critically wounded in this Mesquite trailer Wednesday morning.
This is 19-year-old Beau Maestas. Both he and his 16-year-old sister Monique Maestas have now been formally charged with murder with a deadly weapon.
The mother and the boyfriend of the children delivered or sold some controlled substance to Beau and his sister. It wasn't what they thought it was going to be, and apparently they went back to the parents' trailer.
But the parents were not in the trailer, just the two girls, at which point Christiana and Brittany were stabbed repeatedly.
The attack on my girls is nothing short of a violent, premeditated murder and attempted murder. I will do everything in my power to make sure they are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I encourage prosecutors to go for the death penalty.
Since Maestas has already admitted his guilt, the jury will decide only his fate. The plea deal dramatically changes the picture for Maestas' sister Monique, who was supposed to go to trial with him on murder charges. Her trial will now be held separately.
My client is facing a first-degree murder case, and I won't give her permission to accept paperwork from anyone. And I'm going up to see her right now.
I don't even know who you are. I mean, do you have a business card? I have a business card. I have to clear this with the attorney I'm hired by. I'll be glad to give them to you.
I'm with the Clark County Special Defender's Office. I represent Monique Maestas.
And also Beau, though?
No, Beau has a different attorney.
Okay,
they have to have different attorneys.
So you want to accept just for one, then?
My client, that's the only client I can speak for, is Monique Maestas. There was a process server downstairs, and I heard your name. So I said to him, I said, do you have something for Monique Maestas? And he said, yes. Turns out that, you know, that there are people, they're suing the Casablanca and this whole civil thing.
Yeah.
Well, they plan to come here and take your deposition. I will instruct you that you're not to talk to anybody. Mm-hmm. So if you get anything that looks like this, tell them you are to send that to my attorney, Ms. Jackson. I'm not to accept this. I don't even want to discuss this with you. It's just distracting for me. And we'll take care of that.
Okay. And
all right.
I'm done with the psych, right?
You know what? That's a good question. We gonna have to talk to you about that in private, Dave and I, because part of what we may do, and your brother's in favor of this, is to have him come in, the doctor, and kind of give a basis for what, you know, Beau is saying. And what Beau is saying is not a secret. I can say it. Beau is saying basically you were there, you didn't do anything. And what the doctor may be called upon to do is to analyze your personality and your background and your relationship with your brother in terms of that's your older brother. And, you know, most people would say, well, God, if I saw that, I would turn tail and run. We got to have a doctor explain how the bond between a brother and a sister who have been separated and then come to have a chance to be together. And then when you throw drugs into the mix, how that could happen. So if he were going to do that and needed to see you again, would that be okay?
Yeah.
And you could talk.
It was really nice.
He volunteers his time to working with children here in Nevada, so he understands how children develop and how they're influenced, you know, by their environment. He understands that better than most. That's why I thought he'd be great for you, because you were a child when this happened. You were 17. That's a minor child.
Department 14 is now in session. Judge Donald Mosley presiding. Please be seated.
Calling C-191934, State of Nevada versus Beau Maestas. The record will reflect the presence of the defendant and his counsel, Mr. Onos and Mr. Erickson. We have Mr. Roger and Mr. Schultz present for the state. Will counsel stipulate that all members of the jury are present, properly seated?
Yes, Your Honor.
Open your remarks, please.
Counsel, Judge Mosley. Ladies and gentlemen, on January the 22nd, 2003, the unthinkable happened. Inside a small trailer, the Casablanca RV park in Mesquite, Nevada, two young, innocent girls, Christiana, age 3, and her sister Brittany, age 10, were brutally and savagely stabbed and beaten and left for dead. Christiana Cowan, age 3, died as a result of the stab wounds she sustained, while her older sister, Brittany Bergeron, was rendered a paraplegic for the rest of her life and will never, ever walk again. The evidence will show that the two people responsible for these cruel, senseless crimes were the defendant and his younger sister, Monique Maestas. According to the defendant, the motive for these crimes was that Tammy Bergeron, the mother of those two little girls, had ripped the defendant off in a drug deal. The evidence will show that the defendant went back to the Casablanca Hotel, confronted Tammy, and ordered her basically to give him back his money, or things would get ugly. And they did, based upon the evidence that you will hear. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of Nevada, at the conclusion of this penalty hearing, is going to ask you to return a verdict sentencing this defendant to death and nothing less for what he did to those two little girls.
We're starting trial the end of this month.
Right.
And with Beau, I didn't have a chance to talk to you after I saw your brother last time. Mm-hmm. Have you talked to him?
Not for a little while.
Not for a little while. It was a real good visit.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's made it clear to his attorney, to me, and to everybody that his concern is about you. He loves you so much.
Yeah. Will I be going to court with him anytime soon? Like, will we be seeing each other in court? Because I'm looking forward to it. I want to see him in court again.
Well, we may. The judge has given us 2 weeks to do your case, but if both case runs long, for example, we never know how long the jury will be out. A jury could be out for an hour.
Okay.
A jury could be out for a day, and they can be out for a week. So during that time, we can't start because his case is not technically over until they come back with the verdict. But see, one good thing about it, once he starts it, he's going to want to finish it. All right? Any questions?
No.
All right. Okay, sweetie, it's good to see you.
All right, it's nice to meet you too.
All right, give me a hug. You be good.
Okay.
Did you have any questions? You call Maribel. All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay, take care, baby.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does defense counsel wish to make an opening statement at this time?
Yes, Your Honor, we would.
Go right ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We've gone through the part of coming to a conclusion as to whether or not Beau is guilty, and now we are here to decide what the appropriate punishment is. And I want to take you briefly through a short timeline of Beau Maestas' experience. His father is Harry Maestas. In July 1974, Beau's father was convicted of murder. 4 years after his conviction, Beau's mother, Marilyn, married Harry while he was in prison and gave birth to all 3 of her children from Harry Maestas while he was in prison for murder. The oldest there is Misty, Beau, and Monique. The family outings that these children were exposed to growing up were not going to Disneyland. They were to the state penitentiary. As a 3rd grader, he is diagnosed with attention deficit disorder. Marilyn opts to use marijuana to get to calm Beau down rather than the Ritalin. Eventually, Harry is paroled, and from '86 on, both Harry and Marilyn are involved heavily in distributing drugs from the home. And you will learn that there was a fight over a drug dispute. Someone was attacked with hammers, and the kids, they were told by the mother to clean the blood up and to not say anything to the police about what had happened. In 1993, Harry's back in prison in California. He and his sisters were sent out there to visit the father, and during that time, Beau learns that his father, during these visits in the prison system, was molesting his two sisters. I think you'll be amazed at what those kids were exposed to their entire lives.
Dave? Yeah. You got a minute? I just left the courthouse, and they've started Beau's penalty hearing today. And from what I understand, we're going to have to start with Monique's trial as soon as they're finished, period. So then now, in terms of us preparing our case, we need to kind of split it up, because I think one of us need to try to go over and monitor what's going on with these witnesses in Beau's penalty hearing, because they're the same people we need. And at the same time, we've got to prepare our trial. And let's say we don't know what the verdict is for his sentencing. How can we strategically determine how to even fashion an opening, what witnesses to call?
Beau says, like we expect him to, takes responsibility and says Monique didn't have anything to do with it. Then we need to ask questions that go that way, and we need to do an opening that tells the jury that's our defense. Mm-hmm. But if he gets death, I don't see any way in the world that any attorney will let him testify, and I certainly wouldn't want to try to force him to testify.
So if he gets death, he's really unavailable.
It's crucial. It's crucial that he not get death for us.
Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Let me direct your attention to January the 22nd, 2003 at about 1:55, close to 2 a.m. in the morning. Did you have occasion to go to the Casablanca RV Park, Space 36 in Mesquite, Nevada?
Yes, sir. We had an emergency tone out for a stabbing incident.
And could you describe for the members of the jury what you observed upon your arrival?
Yes, sir. As I exited my patrol vehicle, I observed a small female, later identified as Christiana Cowan. She was lying in her grandmother's arms just outside of the trailer. And I could hear her screaming coming from inside the trailer. I checked for vital signs on Christiana. They were, thank you, sir. They were shallow, but she was still alive.
Did there come a time when you left Christiana with her grandmother and actually entered the trailer?
As soon as I assessed Christiana, I entered the trailer. Brittany was laying on the floor of the trailer, just totally covered in blood, and her mother, Tammy, was above her. She pulled a towel away, and I observed, at first I observed a couple stab wounds to the hip region of Brittany, and then upon assessing her further, I lifted up her shirt and saw several more.
Did you ask Brittany what had happened to her?
She said the male subject grabbed her and Christiana and covered their mouths and she tried fighting him off by kicking and punching and trying to bite him, but he was too strong. And then she said that everything went black.
Did she make any other statements to you at that time, sir?
She looked up at me and told me she didn't want to die. And I told her she wasn't going to die. I was there to help her.
Continuation of C191934, State of Edwards for Beau Maestas.
Showing your stage proposed exhibit number 36. Proof for submission.
Any objection?
No.
I receive. Thank you.
According to the little girl's statement, your sister was in the trailer with you. I think she wasn't in the trailer. I can try to replay that shit, and it's just, I can't see her anywhere in there. Now I realize that you guys are talking, but you shouldn't take the blame for everything. We're not trying to pin everything on your sister, but we know she was in the trailer. We know she was holding the knife. Your sister got blood on her in that trailer. Your sister didn't seem to think she was, for some reason, she was able to stop when she was stabbing a 10-year-old girl. Did she lose it? No, I stabbed both. I stabbed both. I had the knives. I stabbed her, I knocked, I went in and did it. Everything. We appreciate you saying that. From what she said, she was involved. Not saying she did more than you. No, I did all of it.
I think she's probably concerned about what's going to happen to Beau.
Yeah. Well, I told you that one time when we were, when I was interviewing her, and I noticed that she just wouldn't, get emotional about anything. And we were talking about very serious issues like molestation and all of that. And I explained that Beau had indicated that he wanted to take the blame for her. And that was really the only time that I saw her tear up.
Mom tends to be somewhat defensive because some of the stuff that happened doesn't cast her in the best light. And I'm not saying I blame her. I mean, if it were me, I would say, okay, I don't like this coming out about me, but if it'll help my child.
I was arguing with her on the visit. I kept saying it's not about you. It's not even about me. Right now it's about Beau.
Exactly.
She stormed off and left my ass sitting there in the visiting room.
We just have to be aware of that and not let that person, get to us. Right. Okay. So basically what's going to happen is David is going to do, our objective is to convince the jury that if you are not guilty, or even if you are guilty, we're going to go for a not guilty, and absent that, we're going to go for a verdict less than first degree. Mm-hmm. All of the cases in this jurisdiction for the last 10 or 15 years that benefit first degree murder clients, David Sheik was the man who did those. Okay. So that's just called using your best person for the job, and my ego is not so large to where I can't sit down and shut up and let Mr. Sheik do his thing. Right. If there is a conviction of first degree murder, then that's where I think my strong suit comes in. I think I'm able to be much more passionate. David is a very laid-back guy, and so if there is a verdict for first degree, then I'll spring into action. Toward that end, Beau's going to testify. He's going to talk in terms of what really happened and how you were kind of in the background, and it all happened so fast you didn't have a chance to think or stop him or what have you.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, and we have the little girl who's we think is going to testify, and so far all she's ever said is that she seems to recall someone holding her. That's all she's ever said in reference to anybody outside of Beau. So I think we are in very good shape. Don't you worry.
Okay.
And I don't have to, I know that you trust us, and so that's all that we ask.
Right.
We'll take care of you.
Okay.
Next witness, please.
Stevico Doctor, Coach. What is your profession, sir?
I am a trauma surgeon at UMC Hospital.
And when you first came in contact with Brittany Bergeron, what were your observations?
She was awake. She was talking to us. We knew we had to take her to surgery. We weren't able to even count, but there were certainly more, I think, than 20 stab wounds to her at that time.
Did she have any interaction with her sister, Christiana?
Yeah, in fact, it was hard to get her to focus on the exam because most of her attention was to the bed that was maybe 4 or 5 feet away and what was going on with her little sister.
Do you recall if you observed any defensive wounds on Brittany?
Brittany had multiple stab and slash wounds across both arms, the type of wound you would see if somebody was putting their arm up or trying to protect themselves.
Do you have an opinion as to the type of force that would be needed to generate those wounds?
There were 2 stab wounds to her back, and these had to be delivered with great force because they actually had to go partially through bone. And they separated the bone that are stacked on top of each other, vertebrae in the back, and when they went through that bone, they severed the spinal cord. That's why she was unable to move her legs.
Doctor, were these injuries sustained by Brittany life-threatening?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to divide up the witnesses today? Do you want?
Sure. I'm just trying to really only thinking of Brittany from her perspective. Which one of us would be less threatening for her? You're such a laid-back guy.
It will be, David.
See, and I talk so loud, and I'm so, even though I'm a woman and I'm very much into kids, she might, and I'm black, she might find me more threatening.
I think if we just get her to stick to what she said in her statement and just leave it at that. And unless she varies and suddenly has the recollection that Monique was involved more than just holding her, I think we just leave her alone.
We can't do anything for this child, but maybe that's the one thing we can do.
Yeah, but she's just got up there and she's just testified about this horrible thing happening, and then we've got most of the jury probably crying after the doctors described how she was more concerned about her sister than about herself. I mean, do we really want to even ask her any questions?
I doubt it.
Even if she's pulled something on us or changed.
Even if she says Monique stabbed her, we're just going to have to probably live with that, aren't we, David?
Myra Medina, M-E-D-I-N-A.
Showing you State's Exhibit 20. Does that appear to be the way Brittany looked when you came in contact with her on the 23rd of January?
Yes.
Were you able to conduct an interview with Brittany Bergeron on January 23rd, 2003?
Yes, I was. She told me that she had been awoken by a knock on the door and that a male asked her if her mother was Tamara Bergeron, and Brittany responded, yes, she is. The male said, you need to come with me. She said, well, I don't go with anyone. So she said from there she moved on forward to put her gym shoes on and heard a second knock on the door. She said at that point a female came to the door who told her, your mother has been hurt really bad and you need to come with me.
Did you ask her if she would be able to describe either the male or the female?
I did, and at that point she began crying. So I did return with 3 different photo lineups, and I presented them to Brittany.
Ms. Medina, with regard to that first lineup, what, if anything, did she say concerning those 6 photographs that she observed?
She, without hesitation, immediately pointed to the picture in position number 3 and recognized Monique Maestas as the female who had held her down that evening.
So that would be the top right-hand side as we look at it?
That's correct.
I was thinking was I would take all the crime scene people and the cops on everything, and then you would do the methamphetamine people.
Okay.
Okay, which would include Sabrina. She said that Beau, he looked like he was amped up. That she had seen him on methamphetamine before. She'd seen him amped up before, trying to say he was really under the influence of the methamphetamine.
Yeah.
But this is the same girl that says that she was going to break up with him. It's either the drugs or me the night before. And so you know he must have been on a run the night before, too.
Right.
In fact, they probably had him in the bed that night. That's that party they had when they first got over there.
So all of these would be my meth people. Okay.
And what I want to do is just focus on each one to show that Beau was more culpable than Monique was, you know, from the point of even going in and getting the knives. And I think I've got Sabrina for you, and then I've got Dad for you. I don't know if they're going to call her Dad or not. I think they kind of have to, because to me, Sabrina has no credibility if she's going to say it's 1:30 at night, her dad is asleep, and her boyfriend is going to take her someplace, and she wakes him up and says, Dad, can we take some knives with us?
Sabrina Bantam, B-A-N-T-A-M.
Ms. Bantam, when did you first meet Beau Maestas?
My junior year in high school, 2001.
Did that relationship turn into a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship?
Yes, it did.
How is it they arrived at your house and what happened?
It was around 1:30 in the morning, and he had his younger sister, Monique, with him.
How were they acting when they came over to your house?
They were a little upset. A lot. Beau had come to the trailer door, and he just asked me if I had something sharp, and I said yes, and I asked him what for, and he said, doesn't matter. So I went back into the trailer, and my dad was sleeping, and I had asked my dad if he had anything sharp, and my dad said that he had his knives in the drawer. He used to be a chef for 30 years and said, take what he needs and tell him to bring back what he doesn't use.
When you got into the car, what happened?
What I can remember right now, I'm not sure if we drove around, but I know we ended up parking in the Casablanca employee parking.
What happened?
Beau said that he was going to go talk to someone, and he said that if we saw a white vehicle, to honk the horn.
What happened when he returned?
He just stated that the little girls in the trailer would not let him in.
What did Monique say?
She said that she would go with him this time because the little girls would probably let her in.
Did you see them return?
Yes.
What did you note?
That his hands were bloody and he had blood on his clothing. And
was there any discussion as to what had happened on the trip back to Grandma's house?
Monique had said sorry that she'd stabbed him in the hand. She said that the little girl was biting her and kicking and screaming, so.
Was there any conversation about Monique doing anything to the little girl?
In the car, she had stated that she was trying to stab the little girl in the organs, and she just kept stabbing.
Do you recall telling detectives that Monique said, I should have sliced the girl's neck then, but I was too scared. I couldn't do it first. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is.
I would move for the admission of states. Proposed exhibit number 41, which is an evidence package.
Any objection? Glad to receive. Thank you.
Lieutenant, if you would step down for a moment.
The pajama top was originally recovered from the living room floor where Brittany Bergeron was located.
During the investigation, Lieutenant, did you impound all of those items?
Yes, I did.
That's 42A. That's 42A. We will display that for the jury. What is it?
It's a 12-inch fixed blade butcher knife with a white synthetic handle.
Is that the butcher knife that the defendant used to murder the little baby and her sister?
That's the knife.
David, hi, it's Alzora. Good morning. There was a message that was for either Dave or I, so I just wanted to make sure I get back in touch with you this morning. With the low end being 56 years, she wasn't real receptive to that. Can we do anything at all? Just a wee bit, perhaps? Yeah. Okay, but can we just till the close of business today for a final answer? Would that be appropriate? Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, God.
What's he coming up with?
He's not budging. He's not budging. Okay, so, all right. So we know we're going to trial. So I guess
that's why he called, because his offer stands just the way it was. No deals, nothing better.
Did she accept the offer?
Oh God! All right.
Would you?
All right.
For 56 to 200 years?
Misty, please state and spell your last name for the record.
My last name is Maestas, Maestas.
And your first name?
Misty.
Thank you. Misty, what is your relationship to Beau Maestas?
I am Beau's oldest sister.
Where do you currently reside?
Right now I live in Clearfield, Utah.
And who do you live there with?
I live with my mother-in-law, my husband, and our 2 kids.
Misty, if you would, I'd like you to paint a picture of the family life that you and Beau grew up with to this jury. And I'd like to start off with your father, Harry Maestas. Overall, how would you characterize Harry as a father?
He was a bad father. He was a violent man. He was an angry man. My father has been in prison most of his life. He would get furloughs, and when he came home, it was like the prison had come home with him.
What was he in prison for?
He was in prison for murder, for drugs.
Were you frightened by him?
Yes, we were all intimidated of my father.
Would he make threats?
Yes, both him and my mother had threatened to kill my great-grandfather to acquire the property that my grandfather had. I specifically remember my mother saying that using my dad like as leverage against other people, that if they didn't do what she wanted them to do, that she would get my father to fuck them in the ass, to sodomize them, that she was using horrible threats like that.
Could you testify to this jury of a single instance when you're aware of your parents showing any sort of affection or love?
No. In our family, we never did that. We insulted each other, we threatened each other, and we said hurtful things instead of loving things. It was a sick relationship that we had.
And if you could answer this question, I would be greatly appreciative. Did he have a particular belief as to how you obtain revenge against someone?
Yes. Yes, I clearly remember both my mother and father saying that if you want to get back at somebody, if you want to hurt somebody, you get them where it counts and you hurt their family, you hurt their kids.
Judge Mosley's chambers.
Hi, Judy. It's Alzora. How are you today?
Fine. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Getting ready to get ready?
Getting ready to get ready, yeah. I was calling. Do you know when they're going to be closing, babe?
There's one witness. It's a doctor. The defense is calling at 1:30, and then they're doing closings.
Okay. Now, I know you don't know, but have you heard any rumors or anything? If the jury's out, let's say the jury takes a couple of days, do you know if the judge would be inclined to want us to start even while both jury is out?
I'm assuming, and what my understanding is that we'll be starting jury selection tomorrow. But I will make sure, talk to him. He's going to be breaking pretty soon here for his revos, and I will make sure that's clear.
All right.
What do we look like for any negotiations? Is that out?
The offer is pretty much for life without. That's what the offer is. And, you know, life without is the worst we can do in a jury trial.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I don't recommend clients to take what they can get from juries. I don't respect lawyers who do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me talk to him and make sure that we're all on the same page. Okay?
Okay, bye-bye. She says we're starting jury selection in the morning.
I told her we're not starting until Wednesday. If we're starting tomorrow, Maribel's going to have to get the clothes and get...
Oh, yeah.
You can call him back and tell him she said no.
Hello, it's David.
David, hi, it's Alzora. I found my boss. He was actually over talking to Monique.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't want that deal, Dave.
Okay.
I thought we were going to trail Beau. I didn't know we were going to start if Beau's still deliberating.
You know, I mean, it doesn't matter one way or another to me.
I just think it makes it harder.
Mosley's under the impression that we're starting tomorrow, I think.
We'll be there. But I don't know, it just might make it hard to pick a jury if they've been watching all the publicity on Beau and they still haven't made a decision.
Monique's trial starts tomorrow.
And when are you guys going to have me come down?
You're going to be either Monday or Tuesday. Okay. But we're going to let you know.
All right.
David actually spoke with her this morning. She said she used size 8.
She's such a liar. She does not wear size 8. It's more like 12. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was wait a minute. They need a fit.
That's right.
She's going to be uncomfortable.
She wants tight little clothes. No, I'm just kidding. She probably does already.
If we had a top to go with this, I think we're going to be fine.
Like a bra? So we can go brown, tan, or pink.
All right. Let's grab these two.
Okay.
That's cute. Try these on. Not too big of a heel.
I like the round toe.
I mean, because they look like, you know, the girls' school girls.
A modest.
I like the strap around the front.
She's really good with makeup, and she can blend, and she'll be able to work with it.
This is one skirt. This would be the bottom, and this would be the sweater that goes around it.
Yeah.
On top. That's cute. Is that cute? For tomorrow, first day impression. All right.
Did she get to wear stockings?
I didn't get her any, but we can get her stockings.
I just was curious.
Okay. So is this a decent little?
Yeah, I like that.
And this would be.
Is she gonna be okay in a skirt? You think she know how to sit like a lady?
She said, you know, and I was talking to Misty. She said, yeah. I mean, she should be fine.
Okay. All right.
this is what we're dealing with. And the options for first-degree murder are life without, life with parole, and then a term of years, which is 20 to 50 plus 20 to 50. You still want to try to avoid the life without, because the pardons board, they are forbidden. They cannot, by law, commute a life without. Everything else, they can legally commute that. So that's what we want you to be aware of in the trial.
Okay.
You have to, you know, kind of control your impulses.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we with the makeup?
I don't want the buns.
All right.
Misty was wearing them today, and she looks cute, but it's not court appropriate.
Well, I just asked for a hair clip. I won't do the chun-li buns or anything like that.
All right, baby. Okay.
I've got some foundation for you,
All right.
some makeup,
Oh,
some
no, I'll come in without
corrector.
eyebrows on. Okay.
What do you have a lighter shade of brown that you can do anything with?
This is okay, because I don't want it to not have any.
No, me neither. Maybe not a thin line,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit fuller.
Yes, and I might go to court in the afternoon, so it's about
Start
what
at
time?
1:30,
Okay.
which means that they'll probably bring you over.
Come get you about 11, 12-ish.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. They'll get you dressed.
Okay.
Be careful how you, with your mouth. You tend to pucker up, and that looks bad.
Okay.
Okay.
We were telling
no
Misty
direct
about
eye contact with any camera crews or
Thank you again, you guys, for doing this for me.
Oh, are you kidding? No, no problem.
Not always our job.
Yeah, it's our job. Forget it. No.
Okay.
This is the fun part. Shopping. Yeah.
Thank you, Officer Hadsell, and we'll see you tomorrow, sweetheart. Try to get a
I
good
hope you
night's
weren't
sleep.
too horribly disappointed.
No, thank you
Okay.
again.
All right. Bye-bye.
That went really well.
Yeah, it did. She didn't like it in the beginning.
Do you know what? She was such a good food, and thank you guys. Bless her little heart.
Yeah. I think it looks great.
On days like this, it just breaks my heart for her.
I got the pictures, and I want us to review them. They're quite telling. You can't tell me this isn't cute. Look at both.
Oh, they should have used.
Look at that. Oh, look. Okay. Fart. Oh, no. It says, hey, loser. You better hurry up with your stupid shit. I need a new car, maybe a navy blue Jeep with fat tires and chrome with black interior. The Mustang is not chopping the block. Love the nanny goat. Hail Satan, Mom.
Hail Satan?
Yes.
Ooh, we're going to use this in ours.
Mom in the truck.
This is a must-see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I believe them when they say that she started the trucking job to haul dope.
But what is telling is that all of the pictures that we have of Harry take place inside a prison. You know, you think that he's in a beach somewhere in Venice. It's the prison. This is the way he participates in family, I guess. Is sending pictures via prison. Love you, Maestas.
I just don't understand the state of Utah's relationship with convicted murderers. They gave him an unrestricted driver's license.
Closing remarks?
Ladies and gentlemen, these are a lot of the mitigators. Number 3 is basically what I was talking about, was the youth and maturity of Beau at the time of the crime. I want to stress the fact that we are not up here trying to make excuses, some abuse excuse or something like that. We are saying that this is a young man who had a horrific background, whose horrific background affected him in a cognitive fashion, severely impaired him. Those are his environmental factors. Those are his caregivers in his formative years. Those are the people that are instilling values or lack thereof in him. Those are the people that are teaching him right from wrong. I'm asking you to go through an analytical framework, to consider the evidence we've presented, to consider who he is, to consider what he's been through, to consider what he's become. You sentence him to die, the law requires you to presume that that's going to happen. You have other alternatives. You can ensure that he never gets out again. I am asking you for life. There are substantial reasons to give life. Please give life.
Who wrote this?
Monique.
Monique Maestas is a confused person, but more importantly, a pathetic soul. I am a dreamer. I would like to believe that a prince will rescue me one day. I would like to be able to write very well. I think every girl, at least in this country, is raised to believe that Prince Charming is going to come along and he's going to rescue us.
I just feel so sorry for her.
So these are the ones that you picked from what we had? Okay.
Yeah, these are the ones that caught my eye. I figured there was a story to tell. And your mom and your aunt.
Correct.
Which one's your mom?
My mom's this one back here.
So it's his aunt that's sitting on his lap? That seems kind of sexually intimate. Were they sexually intimate?
She says no, but my mom always said yes, that she was.
Is this your dad or another guy?
That's my dad.
So he was in the bodybuilding at one time?
Right, I think just weightlifting.
Your dad appears to me to be gay or bisexual.
Oh, yeah, I'm 100% sure that he is.
Oh, okay, so, that's not a, okay. That's what I'm getting from some of these pictures.
We always would make jokes about him being gay and, taking it in the butt and stuff like that, so.
Well, most guys who go to prison,
right.
Well, I shouldn't say most, but from what I understand.
Right.
This here seems to me like two
sexy guy lovers.
Yeah. Number 17. And to your knowledge, did he get loaded when he was in prison?
Yeah. From what I knew, they would take drugs back to the prison. I remember, they would fill up little balloons with cocaine.
In their anus?
I never saw them actually insert it, but I did see them filling little tiny balloons. This is when we were down there visiting him when he put his hand up my shirt.
It's just not appropriate.
Right.
I'm gonna put all these prison ones together. This will be number 12. Here's one of my personal favorites. They all have cigars.
I think that's probably even a joint that he's smoking. You can just tell.
It's a joint.
Yeah.
He might have been in prison, but he didn't miss much in terms of life.
He didn't.
He had a ball.
Yeah.
And then Marilyn looks totally loaded, doesn't she?
She would get high all the time. She is so on so much dope right there. You can see from the weight difference. Yeah. And they used to take all kinds of cross tops and speed, like unbelievable amounts.
The man with the plan with the octopus hands. Who the hell is this?
That's Uncle Pokey. This is the one who was getting sponge baths by his mom up until he was 16 years old.
Son of a bitch. Monique says Pokey molested her.
I believe that.
I didn't make this up. Uncle Pokey, the child molester.
Mm-hmm. Great family.
Don't let him hide behind his background to escape responsibility for what he did. Look at Brittany Bergeron's childhood. If anyone has a reason to be angry with the world, it's that young child. What's Brittany thinking when the female defendant's sister is holding her down and the defendant is stabbing her? It takes two to do what they did to Brittany Bergeron. Little Christiana. What's going on in her mind when this defendant puts that knife through that poor little girl's head? What's going on in her mind when this defendant holds that child in the air, off the ground, eye level? 3 used to be his favorite number. What's going on in her mind? What would motivate someone to do this? The worst possible crime deserves the worst possible punishment. Look into his eyes, and in one strong, unified voice, tell him he deserves to die for what he did to Christiana Cowan on January 22nd, 2003.
Ladies and gentlemen, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room to begin your deliberations. Court's recess.
All right.
know, the publicity at its peak, the suspense. I mean, maybe his jury will be out a couple of hours. You know, maybe this is...
They're not going to make a decision in a couple hours. They're going to be out deliberating tomorrow morning.
Oh, well. Difficult to think about having to start with his jury out. That's just bizarre, isn't it? You ever heard of a situation like that where they would do that?
This case has to be one of the most horrendous I have ever been involved with.
Nobody came to help her. Nobody came to get this man off her. Verdict. You got a deal. Subject to Monique's approval.
Guilty.
We've seen her in court with her brother laughing like it's another.
I'm really starting to second guess if that was the best thing to do.
You know, I know it's the right thing, but I still feel like shit.